Hello, gang. Got a nice big stack here of comics to review. I doubt if we'll get through all of them, so they'll probably be split into at least two segments. See what happens. I've been kind of having a rough couple weeks, so all kinds of things happening. And then as you can hear, I got a raspy voice. Been dealing with sore throat, runny nose, stuffy nose crap because of the weather going from 90 to 100 degrees down to 70 degrees, back up to 90, back down to 70. Then we hit 80s, then we dropped down to 50s. Now we're going back up to 80s again, and possibly 90s this weekend, and then back down to the 50s and 60s. Well, actually, today I think it's supposed to be like hit the high 80s, and then tomorrow the highs are supposed to be like 60. So our weather is all screwed up in Wisconsin and all over the world, I'm sure. But yeah, it's just with my MS and everything, it just throwing my body all over the place because with having an immune system that attacks your body, any type of severe temperature changes and stuff can just throw you way out of whack. So trying to get through that, and you can see that I'm looking all highly, I look high, highly medicated. I took another shot of NyQuil about 5:30 this morning, 5:30 this morning, and I can still feel it in my system. It got me all out of whack, but I wanted to get some videos done yesterday and I didn't get them done, so I want to definitely get some videos done today so I can at least get some stuff put out for you guys over the next few days. So, so we got, I think it, yeah, not this weekend, but next weekend we have Milwaukee Mighty Con, the big fall one that we always like to go to. Big fall con, but they stupidly, for some reason, have a Madison Con, the first annual Madison Con with actual artist alley and stuff, which I'd love to go to, but it's on Saturday and Sunday. So if I would go, I'd have to go on that Sunday. I don't know if I have someone fill in for me caretaker wise. So I could go 2 days in a row. I highly doubt it. But yeah, I'd love to go out there because there's a few people, including Art Baltazar, that I'd like to see that are out there for it. But yeah, strangely they set it up on the same weekend of one of the biggest cons of the year with Milwaukee Mighty Con, Fall Con. But we'll see what happens. Uh, I don't think it would be too much running around to hit the Mighty Con and then shoot over to Madison. That'd be like 4 hours of driving probably just between the two. That's too much. And my system shuts down after 3 or so hours of driving, 2, 3 hours. So, uh, but yeah, rattle, 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 thunderclatter, boom, boom, boom. Uh, Starting out from cheap comic collectors, $2 sale sales that he does on Saturdays, and he was working with Psychotronic Squirt Gun, doing some sales on Monday. They did a swap thing for the holiday and all that stuff. But yeah, check them out. Check both those characters out on YouTube. They have live sales all the time. But I picked this up because of Wolverine and Punisher on the cover. I thought, cool, this will be a fun story. And then it's got Iron Man 2020, m.o.d.o.k and Mojo World. I thought maybe they were mixing those characters into one story, but they are all individual stories. This is issue 2. It's got a variety of creators and artists and all that stuff. But we started out with Wolverine and Punisher on the trail of a deadly bioweapon. Logan, aka Wolverine, and Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, infiltrate the island of Madripoor and confront Viper, former leader of the terrorist group Hydra. Just when it looks like things are going to go the easy way for our heroes, Viper unveils the bioweapon and it's hungry. That bioweapon just so happens to be a big old looking ice looking dragon type creature. And we got Wolverine dealing with him or her, whatever it is, and having a lot of problems dealing with it. And you can see him getting his arm chomped off there. Yeah, and of course Punisher's there, so he's got to jump in with his weapons and cause a bunch of try to do some damage, but not really causing any real damage because this creature has some special skin uh, shielding abilities and stuff like that. So Punisher ends up going to deal with Kimura, who he doesn't really have much use against either the way it looks. But I wasn't overly big on it because it's kind of got that watercolor artistic artwork to it, but it wasn't terrible. But the thing that bummed me out is this was a story that left you hanging. It was the longest story in the book, but I mean, they leave you hanging right in the middle of everything, in the middle of this whole battle and everything that's going on. And it's like, okay, all right, do I have to get these books to follow the rest of the story? I'm assuming maybe they just keep going on in these. I don't know. I think I might have some Astonishing Tales books that I picked up, but they're in my unread boxes. They're odd numbers, and I like to go from number one on, and the oddball ones are just getting put away for now until I get the rest of them. So I can read the stories from the beginning on, but this one I had to check out because with Wolverine and the Punisher, I just wanted to see what was up with it. Then we got the Iron Man 2020 story. This one, Arnold Stark is the Iron Man of the year 2023, as he and his com- as he and his computer, Cynthia, prepare for the maiden voyage of his civilian Helliliner, the Spirit of Free Enterprise. He's watched by a mysterious man called Commodore Hugh, who seems to have a grudge against Stark and the means to exact his revenge. Again, this one leaves you hanging and stuff. We do have m.o.d.o.k in this storyline, but basically it's a ball, a gala, an event that Stark is at, and he's meeting all these different characters, and we find out some interesting information about Warren Worthington and why he's there and what he wants with Stark. We get our Shield characters. Uh, well, basically Jessica Drew from Shield makes an appearance in here and tells Tony that there's something going on and they need Iron Man for the carrier thing. I don't really want to give that page away because that's the end of the story. But again, this was a big cliffhanger story. They didn't give you too much information on that one either, so I wasn't overly thrilled with how they played that one out. But those those two stories left you hanging big time. Then we got m.o.d.o.k, developed by the terrorist scientist AIM. The mental organism designed only for killing has had a long and varied career as a villain. Here, in this apocryphal tale, apocryphal tale, we see his deepest fears come to life. It's so I'm not a fan of m.o.d.o.k, but this one was pretty funny because we see him wiping out Iron Man, the Hulk. He's got all these blow up characters all set up throughout this like junkyard layout, and he's just flying around destroying them, doing stuff to them, and then he comes across a diner that's basically superhero themed, and the people inside are dressed like Thor, Captain America. The cook's all dressed up as Spider Man, and the waiter's Thor. But we see m.o.d.o.k go in there and come up to it, and he's like, "Well, I got." It. He wants to take out all the superhero characters, and something happens to m.o.d.o.k in the end that a little kid does that just ends up really messing with him. It was a really funny ending. I for not being a fan of m.o.d.o.k stories at all. That one was done well, and it had a completion to it. It didn't leave you hanging like the other two stories, so it was complete enough to satisfy you for a storyline. Then the last one was Mojo World by Sam Guthrie and Robert DaCosta. Are X Men, well, not by them, but they are X Men, Cannonball, and Sunspot, respectively. Mojo is the emperor of a television obsessed other dimension. Put them together, and what do you get? Sam and Bobby making movies, of course. Yeah, it's a fun little game show style layout with Mojo World and people going through these events and our Mojo character basically lining up all the events, and I don't want to fill that page, but you see like all the different Mojos on there. You see a little Family Feud game show like layout and stuff. But Mojo is obsessed with TV shows, lines up the shows that he likes the way he likes it, so he can win, he or her or whatever it is. And our two characters are trying to get a movie produced the way it looks like. And every time someone wins an event, they get the next level of whatever benefits come from it, whether it's movie rights or a pick of where the movie's done or who's going to be in the movie or whatever. I mean, it's things that are related to it, who's going to make the money from the movie, who's going to get the rights to the movies, all that stuff. And it's an actual, it's a complete story also, uh, to an extent. It does go on. These all are continued stories, but it gives you enough to make you feel satisfied that you read a story that was somewhat complete. But you get the gist of what's all happening. Yeah, you want to know what's going to happen next, but yeah, I like the way they played that out. They did a pretty good job with it. But yeah, it was worth the $2. But other than that, I don't know. I was looking for more about the Wolverine Punisher. Got a little more than I bargained for, and a little less than I bargained for, I guess. Next one up is Batman Dark Age. This has been very enjoyable, but I feel like these have been coming like every couple of months or so. I'm kind of bummed because issue 6, the final issue, got canceled last month. The one that I ordered, and they said it's going to be reintroduced. I didn't see it in this month's catalog, so hopefully it'll be in next month's catalog because I really want to get all 6. Otherwise, I should have done what I knew I was going to do with Superman Space Age. I bought all the single issues, and then I ended up buying the trade anyways. So I should have just waited with this one for the trade so I could get any other covers and all that stuff in there and any extras. This is written by Mark Russell. Artist is Michael Allred, Laura Allred coloring it, Dave Sharp lettering it. But we get to see some stuff with kind of a Robin characters introduced in here. They're finding out, basically getting the old school story where his family was taken out, or are they getting taken out, or how can Batman help him? It's like nice little 2-page image there. the Batmobile, our characters, and the False Face Society is still causing all kinds of issues with them, and they're the ones that kind of like attack Robin's family and stuff like that, and we find out more about what's going on with them. We got Catwoman still causing her issues with Batman and just being on her own, doing her thing. But we get to see kind of introduction to. I'm not even going to show it. You should buy your own copy, but to see it. But we get to see the introduction to the new Robin costume that they decided to go with for this. We get some uh, a jump to 2030 where we get to see old man Bruce Wayne and stuff working out in the swimming pool with a bunch of old people, and some things happen with them. We get to see Joker and or Joker, Riddler and Penguin uh, working together. Uh, yeah, I don't want to show that image either. They play some fun things off artist, a well-known artist in here and stuff. But yeah, our story's getting more. I can't say more interesting. It's been. This was very well done. I think Superman Space Age I might have liked a little bit better. Uh, this one I felt like took a couple issues before it dragged me in more. But yeah, I'm really liking what they're doing with these characters. I hope we get more of these. I'm guessing if we do, the next one will probably be Wonder Woman. Uh, we got Cult of the Lamb #2. This is another one I feel is being bi-monthly again. So I was like, knew the gist of it that the lamb got possessed and has to start a cult and all that stuff. Like characters along the way, but I picked this up. I had to kind of remember some things from the past uh, with this storyline. But it's written by Alex Packnottle, illustrated by Troy Little. But our characters are building the shrine, building the thing for the cult on what is it, an island or a planet or wherever they got taken to where they're building their cult environment. And our little lamb character is just on a rampage, just destroying everything that gets in his path. I'm starting to feel like the lamb character is becoming overly possessed. Uh, it kind of like lost a little bit of cuteness and friendliness that it did have. It has to deal with a swamp monster in this one. And we also get more with like the cultist leader. Kind of, it's like our lamb character is working on himself, building up his character, trying to fulfill his destiny. At the same time, our other characters are just basically focusing on his world. And anytime he brings someone new into the world, they have to basically train them, teach them, get them to start helping out, helping them to build the cult dimension for them. And it's kind of getting it's not as fun goofiness as I expected. It's playing a little more on the darker, serious side, but not real serious. Serious just doesn't have as much fun goofiness that I was hoping for. So we'll see what issue 3 has to offer. I think that's only a 4-issue run or something like that. I hope it's at least 4 because if it's 3, then it's kind of lacking some of the story if it is, but not too bad. It just I was expecting more hate Fairyland style feel for a storyline with Lamb character. Kind of is, but it's more dark and not dark comedic, I guess. I don't know. Geiger number 4, Ghost Machine Unarmed, Image Comics. We got Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, Brad Anderson, and Rob Lay working on this. We're still dealing with our Knight character, following our Geiger character around. After repelling an attack by a small band of organ people, Geiger and Nate learn Barney has been kidnapped by the electrician, who delights in the torture of others. So yeah, our two-headed dog character gets kidnapped, out and about, wandering around at night with the night, well, kind of following the night because the night goes off. The night sat there and joked around and interrupted Geiger about books in the past episodes, and Geiger had a book that he was obsessed with. The Knight felt bad, so he's off trying to find a replacement for the book. And by doing that, the dog decides to follow the Knight and see what's going on, and the dog gets trapped, and this character that's following them, watching what they're doing, takes the dog, and now we're waiting to find out if they can get in there, but in order to do it, they have to go where all the basically cannibals, the organ people, the people that chop people up and take organs to put on themselves, so they can live longer because they're living in a radiated environment. We see characters that are in boxes, kidnapped, and our characters decide to try and help along the way. But they're slightly unnumbered, and of course, the Knight character is always jumping into things head on without thinking, and that puts Geiger in a position to try and help him when Geiger's trying to find his dog, help his dog, and all that stuff. But yeah, you can imagine what the feel is with that storyline with the organ harvesting people. Basically, like any post apocalyptic uh, style movie, you're going to have that type of character brought into. Now we got a big chunk up next. I think we're going to end it with this since we got almost a half hour in here. But I have to look at something. This is. I hate that they don't put the information on the front page like they used to inside the front cover. So this is early March 2017. This one is 2016. So yes, I read them backwards, as I always do. But I'm gonna review them backwards too, since that's how I read them. That's how I'm gonna review them. But Kevin Wolf set me up with these. Thought I'd like the storyline. We got Harley Quinn, number 11 and number 12 from 2017. Connor Palmati, Tim's, and Hi-Fi worked on this. And this is yeah. This is an introduction for me, first introduction for me for Red Tool, I believe. I thought I was introduced to the character before, but after reading this, I don't remember him. So I was very happy to see this. We get to see Harley and the Red Tool dealing with the Joker, who just happens to show up by Harley after a long period, and after she did a bunch of stuff to him. There's been all kinds of events happening over the past couple of years with her traveling to different areas, uh, basically wiping out anything of the Joker's that she can get her hands on. But the Joker wants to meet up with Harley and go over something, but she's not getting any information from him. So he's like, "Meet me at this place this time," and she sets it up. I love with the Red Tool how they do the tool imagery, the hammers, the lights, the screws, the nails, the saw blades, all that stuff. But one thing that it didn't click on me right away because of course my brain dead self just didn't click. But I don't know, I can't find a good image of it right now. But in the saw blade, there's a little center spot to show that it's got the saw blade has the hole in the center so you can connect it to your device. Uh, but when I first seen that, I'm like, okay, there's a stain there, and then I see another one, and I'm like, well, you can't have stains in the same spots all the time. Then it finally clicked that it's a saw blade, dumbass. That's why it's laid out like that. But yeah, in this story, these 2 pages we get, it's like the Red Tool and Harley are it kind of feels like they're dating. Kind of feels like Red Tool's just hanging with Harley, just staying with her for a bit, and kind of making puns about fooling around and stuff, but you never really see any full-fledged dating lifestyle stuff going on other than joking around. Like here's Red Tool in his banana hammock underwear and just wearing his mask, joking around with Harley to try and make her feel better about some stuff with the Joker. And at the same time, we're seeing that other characters that are kind of have their own agenda with Harley, but the main focus still uh, lies on the whole thing with the Joker. But we get to see Harley doing her normal, where she goes into an event without really being cautious at all, uh, blows her way into a area that is secured. She fills the door full of grenades, blows it open, and she just so happens to they happen to come across a very interesting creature, and the Red Tool just gets absorbed by it, and Harley's got to help him out. But while that's going on, they take care of all that stuff, and then Harley wants to take a nap and get herself ready for her meeting with the Joker. And while she's napping, the Red Tool's just not wanting her to go. He wants to go deal with the Joker himself. So he just happens to reset Harley's alarm clock so she doesn't wake up at the right time. And he goes and meets up with the Joker at the noon meeting place that they set up. And we get some fun uh, Harley Quinn dream sequences that kind of take us back to the whole Harley Joker. imagery from the past, what could have happened with them if they had kids and all this stuff. And then she wakes up and finds out, oh, hey, well, she doesn't find out until I think until she gets to the event that she's late for everything. Or no, it is right before because she needs to take a shower before she goes. So she knows she's running a little behind and uh, does what she has to in the meeting place and finds out what's going on. And it leaves us hanging. He left me one issue short. So I definitely want to read the rest of that story. But I was kind of bummed because I read that one first. So I was hoping that I'd be going into the follow up from that story and see more. And then I read 26, 27, and 28, which is a whole different story. Not really a whole different story, but this takes you back to the beginning of when Red Tool and Harley met for probably the first time. I'm assuming they don't really know much. She has. He's kind of like wanting to date her, and she's kind of like just not wanting nothing to do with him. But he's knows some information about her, and it uh, kind of sucks her in as he plays out the thing that he's been stalking her and getting all this information on her and stuff like that. Starts out with a interesting little Red Riding Hood storyline with the Joker and stuff in the beginning, and uh, that's when we get into meeting the Red Tool, and Harley's dealing with some kind of like surf jerks, beach bums. You know how those surfers are, just one minded, single minded, don't want to basically allow anybody else into their cliques or their party or their beach and all that stuff. But while she's hanging out, I mean, we get to see Queenie, Bernie. Bernie's her little beaver with the hole in his belly. Goat Boy, Mike the Rooster, Nathan the dog, Frankie and Johnny, Poison Ivy, Big Tony. They're all part of this storyline. Uh, Tony's hanging out with her at the beach and stuff. She has a confrontation with a guy that's metal detecting on the beach. It was a fun little verbal exchange that these two had. And he's basically being rude and stupid, but in the end, kind of, let's see, Lenny's head in there. But when he scolds him and puts him in his place, it was pretty funny. I have problems with imagery issues. It's like I know when you're looking at a mirrored image of yourself, your right's your left's your right. Things switch around. But when you see imagery directly, I don't see why it would be flipped. It's like our nurse character gets a good left hook and she ends up with her right eye being bruised, or her left eye being bruised, which it should have been her right eye. I don't know. Maybe I'm screwing that up. I'm terrible with that. It's like I know mirrored imagery should be reversed, but visual imagery straight on, I would assume would be the way we see it, but I don't know. But yeah, it gets us into the Red Tool starting I'm gonna have to go anyway, so we'll get back to that soon. Keep falling under the call of MS. I'll be back.